radio world. This is the Ham Radio Man Oz with another video for you. And a great little device that I came across on eBay, and I'm glad I purchased from China, to test components and stuff. And I think every ham shack and everybody who has anything to do with electronics should get one. So what do we got here? We've got a few components here. I've got an electrolytic capacitor, a ceramic capacitor, a transistor, a resistor, and 4 LEDs, different types of LEDs. Now, if you're like me, you're getting older and your eyesight's going, unless you've got a big magnifying glass or you've got everything sort of categorized where you've put them, you'd find these things very hard to read and remember what type of transistor that was, or what resistor that was. Maybe you can't see the colors very well anymore, or you could put it on a multimeter, sure you can, but how do you test LEDs? Put it on a small battery, I suppose. Suppose you forget which is negative and positive at the last minute before you put in your circuit, and you want to remember. Suppose you're not sure if a component's working, and you don't want to go and solder it in and then find it's not working. So what you do is you go onto eBay and you find yourself one of these handy dandy little testers. Now this one here, I'll just move those aside. This one's called the TC1. Now there's a lot of them on eBay, a lot of different types of them on eBay, and simple ones that aren't so expensive, from about $15. Same principle, doesn't look as good because it's not in a box or something. This was about $45 delivered, and it has a rechargeable battery through the USB port, so it recharges there, and it looks neater. It's in a box, it's got everything, everything you could possibly want from a little testing device. It's very small and compact, but what does it do? Well, it's got a colour screen, a colour TFT screen. Now, for example, what we do is, it comes with these little probes as well, which are great, and I'll explain them in a moment. But let's suppose you've got this, say this electrolytic capacitor. You want to make sure that A, it's the right value, and also that the capacitor still works. So what you do is you find, now on this thing, I'll zoom in a little bit more so you can see, you'll notice there are there's some letters and numbers, and they're slightly different colours. Well, it's a very simple thing to use. All you have to do is make sure that the two prongs you prop it into, or whatever pin you drop it into, are different colours, or a different letter, a different colour. For instance, you wouldn't go red because that won't work. So if I pop it into the red, for example, lock it down and hit the test button, you'll see it will come up and say testing, but it won't be able to diagnose it because it says faulty or damaged component. You'll go, oh no, that's faulty. No, unlock it, take your component and put it into different colours. So in this case I'll put red and purple. I'll lock it down so it's in place, and then I'll push the test button. And what you'll see this time is it works perfectly. Now I'll zoom in on that display so you can see better. Hopefully the camera will focus. There we go. So there you see, it says it's a capacitor. I'll just press that again. It'll only stay on for a few seconds, so that's all you need. It says it's a capacitor, what the capacitance is, and of course what colours you've got it on. So in this case red and purple, and that's exactly right. So we know that that works and what the capacitance is. Now if I take it across on another couple of pins, do the same thing, repeat the process on a couple of different pins, it'll tell me red and blue this time. Still tells me the capacitance, and it's working fine. It just tells me so I know which pins I had it on. Okay, that's all well and good for, say, a electrolytic capacitor, and of course you'd know that they're also positive and negative, because the negative is usually identified on these ones very easily. So the little tester won't tell you which is positive and negative on an electrolytic, because you should be able to see that quite easily and know which is the positive and negative. Now let's suppose you've got a ceramic capacitor. Of course they don't have positives and negatives, but the same principle will apply. I just pop it in to two different pins, two different colours. There's my phone going off in the background, and we press the little test button and it'll test it, and it says this time it's damaged because it doesn't want to recognise it. Now why? I don't know, so we'll just try something else here. Try it in a couple of other little pins. It might be actually a damaged capacitor. Okay, again it's not telling me anything, any result there, so I'll try another couple of pins. Let's try it again, and again it's not working. So we'll pop that one aside, and I'll use the probes on that to demonstrate the probes on that one a little bit later, maybe because maybe it won't read that one through that situation, but that's okay. I'm sure that I'll be able to read it later on. Okay, so we come back to our resistor. Okay, if I bend a couple of the prongs down to put into a couple of the pins, and we just pop that into that one and pop it into that one, for example. Oh. And of course you don't have to, you can use the probes again on this one as well, so you don't have to bend the pins. And I'll just press that, and you'll see this time it should show up, there we are, as a resistor, and it's on pins 2 and 3 and what the resistance of it is. So that's testing a resistor as well. So it's a great little gadget to have. Okay, so there's your resistors and your capacitors. Now suppose, coming back to that transistor, the transistors are a little bit trickier. Oh, do you remember if it was PNP or NPN, or was it bipolar, was it which was the base, which was the collector? Pop it into 3 of the pins on this little thing, lock it down as I've done there, locked it down in place, and push the little test button. That's all you got to do. Very simple, and it will tell you, there we are, it tells you which pin has got the base, the emitter and the collector, and that it's an NPN transistor. Very effective, so you'll know straight away. Now if you reverse it around, put it around a different way, put it in different pins, turn it backwards, upside down, doesn't really matter as long as it's in 3 different ones. And in this case I probably haven't got it in 3 different ones, so I'll move it over and lock it down again and try again, and it should tell me, there we are, there's the result again. So it tells me again which is the collector, base, emitter, and that's an NPN, and which pins I've got on this time. So all I did was turn it upside down that time. Alright, so now you come across to, say, your LEDs. And in this case I'll just take a simple red LED 5mm. I think they call them diffused. So we know which is the positive and negative anyway in electronics. Most of us can tell usually, but supposing you're not sure, or your memory's a bit shocking, or you just want to double check it, make sure everything's good, pop it into 2 of the pins as I've done there, locked it down, and we'll just push the little test button, and up it comes. There we are, and you can tell which way the positive and negative is, and it's a 1.95 voltage that's been put onto it. Now not only did that happen, it tells me which it was. I'll push the little test button and you'll see it flashes the LED too, so you know that it's definitely working. Okay, now supposing we turn it around. Now if you reverse the polarity of voltage on a normal LED or diode, well, you either burn it out or it just doesn't want to work. But by turning this around, locking it down again, push the little test button, flashes the LED, and now you can see positive and negative is the other way around. It hasn't harmed the LED in any way, shape or form, and it's just made sure that that LED is good. So it's a really handy little tester, because it will test no matter what the polarity is. If I take another LED, different one, pop it in 2 different pins like that, press the button, flashes, come back to the reading, there we are, you can see positive and negative flowing that way. And I'll reverse it, turn it around, lock it in place, and push the button, you'll see it flash, there we are, and again, and you see that the polarity is reversed. It tells me which pin has got the positive and which one's got the negative. So very, very simple and easy to use. Great little device. Okay, so let's suppose that you've got something already, you've got a circuit like this, and you're not sure if your LED is still working, and you've tried different things and you're just not sure if that LED is working. Well, before you take it out of the circuit and replace it, grab your little probes that come with your tester. I'll just zoom the camera back out. Alright, and what you do is just pop your little testing pins. It's got 3 pins on it, and we just pop that into the tester and lock it down. Now that gives us basically 3 spare little fingers. Doesn't matter which ones you use. Alright, in this case I'll take a red and I'll put it on one side of the LED, and I'll take a yellow and I'll pop it on the other side of the LED. I could use the green, I could use any combination, as long as you're using at least 2 of them, because that's all we need. Now while we've got that there, we'll test. There's the LED flashing, so we know it works, and there's the polarity of the LED, so we know. So that LED is fine and working. What about if you think it might be the resistor in the circuit? Well, again, take one of the probes, pop it on one side of the resistor. In this case I've got a resistor in this circuit. I'll try and zoom in a bit on that. Okay, and take another one. In this case I'll just use the green just to mix it up a bit. Pop that on the other side of the resistor, as we can see. And we'll come back to our tester. We'll push the little test button, and it will test. And there we are, the resistor's fine, so it's working perfectly. So it's not the resistor that's the problem. So if you've got a situation like that where a multimeter won't just solve all the issues, you can try these little testing devices, and they will hopefully track down any faults for you that a multimeter might not be always advantaged to have. Certainly it'll still tell you if the ohms or voltage levels are correct. Now coming back to that little ceramic capacitor, I'm just going to try the little leads on this one. So I've popped it onto my little ceramic. I'll push the test button and I'll see if I get a result this time. And no, it doesn't want to tell me. So there's every possibility that that ceramic capacitor is damaged. So rather than muck about and test it in other ways, which I probably could, or pop it in a multimeter or whatever, I'd more or less just pop that to the side and say, well, it's not worth it. Get another one. Now, if you've got other types of capacitors, like this one in this circuit, and resistors, again the same principle applies. So you've got these all hard soldered into this little circuit, and you want to test and make sure that they work. Take your leads, doesn't matter which way around. I've got a transistor in this one as well, and I'll pop 2 of the leads on one side of each of the capacitor, and this is a green cap capacitor, and it should tell me with any luck. No, it's testing. There we go. Okay, so it shows up technically as a diode, green cap capacitor. As long as it's working, that's fine. It's tested it, and I know it's working. Now whether that's correct or not, I'm not 100% sure. Maybe it doesn't do everything. Maybe it doesn't do ceramic capacitors or tantalum or what do you call them? Tantalum, I suppose, or green caps. I call them green caps because they're green. I don't know whether that's the right terminology or not, but that's what I call them. I think they are referred to as tantalums, but that might be again another type. Now I'll just test that again with 2 different probes, and we'll see if we get a result. It's testing and testing and testing, and again, what's it going to come up with? As long as it doesn't come up damaged or defective, there we are. It's come up, showing up as a diode again, which it basically probably could be in regards to what it does as a capacitor. Now here's the transistor in the circuit as well, this little transistor. So we'll test this transistor. I'll pop a red on there, I'll pop a green on there, and I'll flick it around and pop the yellow on the other one. And it's really good, the little clips, they hook right onto it. So I'll hit the little test button and we'll look at the screen, and hopefully there we are, and it tested our transistor. It's an NPN as well, the base, collector and emitter, and you can see what you've got. The collector is on the red one, and yeah, the collector's on the red one, the base is on the green, and the emitter is on the yellow in this case, because what it's referring to is not the colours of these clips, the colours of the pins that it's plugged into. In this case, green is on red, so I may have got that wrong. Green is on red, yellow is on the blue, and red is on the purple. So yeah, so red is actually connected to the base, sorry. Yellow is connected to the blue, which is the emitter, and of course the other one is the collector. So there we are. So a very simple little device to have. Absolutely recommend that everybody has one, gets one on eBay, no problems. It was a couple of weeks to get here, but you know, it's worth the wait for a little tiny thing like that because it works extremely well. That's called the TC1. This has been Ham Radio Man Oz, and I hope you enjoyed this. If you enjoyed it, please thumbs up, rate, comment, subscribe to my channel. More videos to come, and I thank you for your patience and your time. 73s and cheers, and catch you out there on the airwaves.